メジャー翻訳速報。メジャー挑戦を表明しの佐々木朗希投手について現地スタッフが興味深い分析をしています。今回は佐々木投手の100マイル超の速球とフォークについて現地メディアの注目度とともにお届けいたします。この動画が面白いと思っていただけましたらチャンネル登録と高評価よろしくお願いいたします。
Let me hit you on this too before we say good morning to Lauren. Roki Sasaki has spoken, right? This highly coveted free agent pitcher coming over from Japan. And I guess you are more familiar with him than some of us. He made a public appearance, and if we were to translate what he had to say, it was something like, I'm going to try my best, or something, not so terribly interesting.
That's a hot take.
Yeah, hot take. But what do you make of his free agent candidacy, and where do you think he lands?
I think he lands with the Dodgers. Ohtani's his favorite person, his idol. You've got him and Yamamoto
I
there.
thought Darvish was his guy.
No, Ohtani's his guy.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what, I saw this guy at the WBC 2 years ago. And you know how you see a guy out in the outfield running and shagging? A lot like Mariano Rivera. You're like, who's that new outfielder? That's this kid. He's an athlete. 6'2", 6'3". I got him that height, easy looking at him. And he's just fluid. His actions are amazing. I'm telling you, I was part of Team Japan. Just watch the video.
I know.
I'm part of. That's me in the high five line.
Adios.
After they won the championship. Those are my boys. Hey, nice job. I know you knocked off the Americans.
How did you get in this conga line, by the way? When we saw this video, the day after this happened, we were like, Harold is Where's Waldo? He's turning up in the darndest places. Now he's Japanese?
Yes. Yes, I am.
It's because he makes friends with everyone. It happened in Vegas. Every time I saw him, he's talking to someone new. Good morning.
I know.
And then he introduces you, and he's like, you know the shortstop for UNLV, right? I'm like, oh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Good morning to you.
Good morning,
Good morning,
Lauren. Welcome
Lauren.
back.
Good morning.
Hey.
We had a beautiful guest list in Vegas. Mookie, Tarek Skubal, Paul Skeens, and Shota Imanaga, who we caught behind the scenes, fell in love with Vegas. Some people go there. They play the slot machines.
These machines are such a scam.
They really are. Before you know it, it's 50
But got it. He's got it.
He got it. The impossible has happened. Not for the common man.
Rock the baby. Bad bio
How much you spend on those
buddy.
things?
Bad
Got the ultimate
bio.
prize. I mean, it's $50 before you even get a little toy that you throw away.
I think if I were to
way
total up my lifetime losses in those style machines, it's into 4 or 5 digits.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because I can't put it away. Like, I'll keep trying until I get the doggone
You're
Cupid bear
competitive.
out
You're
of
getting
Have
it.
you ever pulled anything out?
Yeah, I have.
You have?
Nothing of any value.
Okay.
But just to get it out of there that's the whole idea.
That is the.
Right. And they put Vaseline on the thing.
No, they do not.
Sure they do.
You are
I have
dated.
inside information on the license.
Some guy.
Vaseline on the
Silly.
thing.
You should know. You've got some carny in your bloodline too. Like, we should know.
If you want to hang out with Livy Dunn, gentlemen, now that I got your attention.
大家好，我很高兴来到台北市，很高兴见到你，一会儿见。
Who's happier than you, JP Morosi, on a Monday? Have the noodles settle. Good morning to you, live from Taiwan. Your stomach of steel or what?
Oh, I'm doing great, Lauren. Thank you so much for the warm welcome. And yes, you don't even know how many takes that it required me to get that Mandarin to the point where it's maybe only 80 or 90% correct. Remember, I had the words right, but it's a tonal language. So I had to make sure that my inflections were going up and down at the right time. I had to run this by about 4 people on our production team here, so I was very grateful for their help. And yes, the fooled noodles were actually a great choice. And here we are at Taipei Dome. Yes, I've been working hard at Loretta Stone.
Matt wants you to come home. Tell him to come home, Matty B.
More from you later, H, on our conversation. I was listening to the A Block, by the way, about who was actually paying the bill for that phone conversation we had. But I digress. It is, of course, about 10:21 local time on a Monday evening, and the fans are just now filing out because Chinese Taipei has advanced to the super round of the Premier 12. And I'll say this, on a night where the crowd was more than 30,000, there you see it behind me, it says Tokyo bound for the local team. This game did not actually matter for the bid, and still, on a Monday night, 30,000 people showed up. That's how you know you are in a baseball town. So the two teams advancing from here, Japan and Chinese Taipei. Let's go back over the weekend, some highlights. One of my favorite players to watch in the world, Sosuke Genda. He's known for his glove. How about this? A home run for Japan against Chinese Taipei. He is, I believe, one of the 3 or 4 best defensive shortstops in the world. And here is Li Lin, a majestic home run for Chinese Taipei. Here, by the way, Taisei Ota, the final out of the Japan-Korea game. Let me tell you, Lauren, how big Taisei Ota is. So famous that he wears number 15, same digits as Ichiro, and they allow him to wear his first name only on the back of his jersey, like Ichiro. That's how you know you've made it. So number 15, Taisei. And we talk about Samurai Japan. Listen to this stat. They have won 24 games in a row. So the senior men's national team, when you include the Premier 12, which is what we're covering here, the Premier 12, the Olympics, and the World Baseball Classic, they have won 24 games in a row. The last time they lost a game at any level in a major tournament was 5 years ago. 5. It was against Team USA in the Super Round at the Tokyo Dome in a tournament that they still won. So they have not lost a medal round knockout game in more than 7 years since the 17 WBC. That's how great Samurai Japan is. But now they've got to contend with this team, Chinese Taipei, who believe they can win the whole tournament, and Team USA and Venezuela beginning this week in Tokyo, which is my next stop.
You're going? You're still going?
Still going. My flight to Tokyo leaves in less than 12 hours, Lauren. I'm going.
You're a gamer, JP. And usually, I feel like when we put a spotlight on these international standouts, they're new in their career. You were talking before the show about a standout, a 35-year-old who has a 1.67 ERA. Who are you paying attention to?
Tomoyuki Sugano. So he is not pitching on this edition of Samurai Japan because he is bound for Major League Baseball. Here he is, speaking of that 2017 WBC. He pitched against Team USA on that rainy night at Dodger Stadium that was Samurai Japan's most recent loss in a high-stakes game, but he pitched well that night. And one team I'm watching carefully, Lauren, for Tomoyuki Sugano, the Los Angeles Angels. I've heard there's some interest there. Remember, he was posted a couple years ago, but did not come over because he had such an allegiance to the Tokyo Giants because his uncle was then the manager. Different situation now. He's actually coming off of one of his better seasons ever in NPB. And I'm making the comparison, Lauren and Matt and H and Keith, to one of the other great pitchers who came over from Japan to MLB in his mid-30s. Hiroki Kuroda. Remember him? One of the great veterans of the Dodgers and Yankees. I see a lot of Kuroda in Tomoyuki Sugano.
Almost came to the majors once before, as you said it. Perhaps, JP, this is it. Before you go and catch your next flight, any truth to the rumors that Corbin Burnes is between two teams, has narrowed it down, or not so much? Not yet.
I think, Lauren, there are two teams that stand above the others. Those are the Baltimore Orioles and the Los Angeles Dodgers. But I was told by a source within the last 12 hours or so that nothing is getting finalized yet. He is still having broad interest around the major leagues right now in Corbin Burnes. And I think, Lauren, that he could sign independent of wherever Juan Soto signs. I don't look at there being as much overlap between those two places because when you consider the Burnes market and the Soto market, I agree with what H said off the top about how the Mets are really, I think, one of the key drivers in the Soto market, and they're not so much involved in Burnes. So I think, yes, Orioles and Dodgers, the leading candidates there on Burnes, but by no means is this a two-team race.
Finding a home earlier in the offseason would be a preference. Do you use a neck pillow? Do you have an eye mask on this flight? Like, set the scene. What are we going to see?
Lauren, it's a short flight. When you go from Taipei to Tokyo, that's around the block.
Yeah,
I think
I know.
3 hours.
I've done it many times.
And by the way, I do have, I think if we've got time for one quick last video, H.
We do.
I'm going to tell you this. I had a chance to see one of my favorite things in the sports world. Samurai Japan taking infield. This is
look at
worth the price of admission. Now, I show up early just to see this. Now, look at this, H. They're even tossing the ball as a team around the diamond in synchronicity. This is like watching the Harlem Globetrotters and the Paris Opera Ballet all rolled into one. And this is exactly what I was telling you about, H. When we were talking on the phone for like 45 minutes and I was rolling up all the long distance international charges on your bill, I was telling you all about Samurai Japan taking infield. I'm telling you, Sosuke Genda is one of the 3 best defensive shortstops in the world, any level, anywhere. I would pay money to watch that man field ground balls.
Wow. That's pretty cool. I don't think I've ever seen the conga line relay like that.
And I didn't know synchronicity was a word. JP Morosi, you're amazing. Enjoy
Did he say it in English or Thai?
What are you talking about? You didn't know synchronicity was a word. Do you ever listen to the Police? It's the name of one of their greatest albums.
Save yourself right now.
It's true.
And the
Sources
answer is
confirm.
no.
I'll be back with more reports from Japan later on this week.
Okay. Bye, JP. Bye for now. Matt, take it to
Travel safe.
Excellent stuff from JP. Is there anybody with a bigger appetite for international baseball than that guy?
No, but you've already stole the headline. Tell these youngsters about the police. They think you're talking about the local cops. Yeah. Tell them about the group.
The group, the Police, one of their best albums, or most selling albums, Synchronicity.
Nobody cares.
Well,
Wow.
you don't care. Maybe there's somebody out there that cares. Maybe there's a guy in his late 50s like me that used to listen to the Police, appreciated Stuart Copeland's drumming.
Man.
Let's go to a break, right?
Do
Is
that.
that what we have to do next? Oh no, wait a minute. Are we talking about that? Oh no, we're going to a break. They're playing us off.
Yeah, they are.
It's a flashback to the All MLB Awards when Lauren got played off the stage a couple of times. When we come back, we're going to hear about Lauren's big slot poll, some of the highlights from their perspective. They lived this great trip and this great show. Was Amsinger photoshopped onto that thing?
It looks like it, right? I hate this time of year.
Welcome back. These were notable free agent signings that hit big last winter. And when we say hit big, it all has to do with the fact that they were signed on short-term, club-friendly contracts, and they turned into terrific signings and terrific seasons. How about Jurickson Profar at $1 million? Was there a better value in the sport last year?
You realize that 388 players, I only know this because I was talking with Matt Baker yesterday, 388 players made $2 million last year.
Wow. And not many of those players were better than Jurickson Profar last year. That was a great deal. So it gets us to thinking about this year's free agent classes. We'll welcome you back inside and some suggestions that Keith and I have for maybe similar deals that could pay off for teams.
I'm here, Harold, yes.
Keith, do you want to start, actually? Why don't you fire this up?
All right, we'll turn the segment upside down, and I'll start here, guys. I think when you talk about a flyer, obviously there's some risk involved. And a guy we haven't talked about much this offseason because he's hurt, he's not going to be ready to go at the start. How about Shane Bieber if you come up short on your pitching pursuits, or if you have a staff that's already in good shape, you need somebody for the second half. He's going to need a little bit of a pillow deal to reestablish his value. Could take a 2-year deal, probably more 1 year. Shane Bieber for a flyer, guys.
Who looks nothing like Tommy Pham. That was interesting. But Shane Bieber had an abbreviated season, was off to such a great start too. That's why it was kind of sad to watch him lose the season, given what he'd been through previously and the great start he was off to. I don't know that he needs any workup time, so I guess that's part of the definition of taking a flyer. He might not be ready to roll on opening day, but I get you on that.
He started a throwing program, but no set timeline just yet, guys.
Okay, so might need some workup. Is there somebody else that you'd think would be worth taking a flyer on?
Well, how about Tommy Pham? It seems like he pops up in the postseason every year. He's moved teams a ton these last 5 or 6 years after starting his career in St. Louis. And he's got a great postseason track record, guys. 37 games, averaged well over 300 in the playoffs. We saw him with the Royals last year after being mired in Chicago with the White Sox. Tommy Pham seems like a guy who a winning team is always interested in.
That's a good one. He's a winner, man. He just is, the way he competes. So I'll start with my first guy, and I'll say it's Tommy Pham. That's my guy. I would take him too. I think anytime you have a guy that's used to all the pressure cooker and performs, you got to take a look at him. I would like to see him get a real offer at the beginning of the season instead of trying to figure this out and go, oh, he can really produce for me in the postseason. He's done this every year. He earned a right to have hopefully a multi-year contract, a 2 or 3 year deal with somebody. Would be great to see. And then my other guy is Kike Hernandez. They should never got rid of him in LA.
Yeah.
And I know he went to Boston and he had the thing there, but coming back to the Dodgers, I don't think they win the World Series without him. What he did down the stretch and his flexibility to play so many different places and what he does for this club, it allows them to do a lot of different things. And he's productive. And I really think he's just starting to get better. He's starting to understand how good a player he is. I just love Kike. I think he's a great addition to any club, but he fits LA. There's no doubt about it.
You know, there have only been 4 players in Dodgers history to hit more postseason homers than Kike Hernandez. He turns into Babe Ruth when the calendar ticks into October. I'm with you on all those. I got 2 guys, too. Gio Urshela, a couple of years ago, before he got hurt with the Angels, was playing first base. He'd never played first base before. Like, this guy came up with the Indians years ago, and we thought, all right, he's an all-glove, no-bat guy. Then he had a good run with the Yankees where he hit a bunch. Now he does everything. He can play every infield spot. He could probably give you serviceable time in the outfield. And situationally, this guy's a great 2-strike hitter. He's a good RBI guy, given that he's not huge and a power hitter. I've been a fan of this guy for a long time. The OPS was down last year, but I think Gio Urshela is a guy that could help a postseason team as he helped the Braves at the end of last year. The other guy that I would say you'd take a flyer on, and it's weird to say you're taking a flyer on a 7-year All-Star that's a former MVP, but at the age of 38, Paul Goldschmidt is older. He's an older player. He wasn't as productive last year as he has been in the past. And I'll give you a team, too.
Okay, I got a team for you.
If Christian Walker leaves the desert, Goldie goes back to the Diamondbacks on a 1-year deal to be the veteran guy in the lineup, the team that broke him into the big leagues where he had massive years and great success. That, oh, by the way, is a postseason team this year. It's not like he's going to a total rebuild. I think that it's all laid out for us. If the Cardinals are prepared to let him walk, which it sounds like they may be, and if Walker leaves in Arizona, Goldie goes back home.
Even if Walker stays, I go get Goldie. Can DH. Those two, Walker plays a lot. Let Goldie DH. He's going to be very productive.
There's a market for him.
There's a market. And I love him fitting in Arizona with that club. Go back, do your Hall of Fame thing from there.
Yeah.
That's your guy. He's going in the Hall as a D-back.
There's some value there.
Yeah.
In other words, in the market. Let's take a break. Still to come on the Monday program. Steve Phillips is going to join Lauren to talk about rebuilding the Braves. It starts with just getting some guys healthy, and Atlanta will be quickly reestablished as chalk in the National League. Steve Phillips tells us how that happens coming up on Hot Stove.
The great core itself.
Hoorah.
I want to take you back to Friday. Remember, we were in Vegas this week, I should say. I'm going to take you back a couple days ago when I got a chance to sit down with Shota Imanaga, and I asked him about Sasaki. We keep hearing about Sasaki. He played with him in the WBC, and I said, well, break him down for me. So here's my question in the conversation.
So I was teammates with him during the WBC, and I've spent some time with him. And I would say, just looking at him, he has a fastball that goes above 100 miles an hour and a fork ball with so much drop. It's hard to really see anybody else with those characteristics, and so I think he's going to do well.
100-mile-an-hour fastball and a forkball that drops off the table.
And apparently they say Roki Sasaki's not even a finished product yet. Imagine how good he's going to be. If he's already that good.
That's pretty good.
I got a kick out of that. I have something to say, ladies, first.
Okay,
because I said so. The Astros held a press conference today. I know how much you love those, Maddie, to announce the renaming of their ballpark. Minute Maid is no more. It is Daikin Park starting in 2025. No more juice box.
She wants to come into the juice box and throw a 2-0 heater cater to Kobe Rasmus.
Nobody.
Wow.
Daikin Park.
An air conditioning company. Yes.
Oh. Is it
It's gonna
blowing?
take some getting used to.
Better turn that air up.
Icebox was one of the best ballpark nicknames ever.
No, I agree with that.
Now they're going to call it the Icebox.
Look at
Oh.
you. Look at you doing the Lord's work,
That's
honey.
free, America.
You're welcome.
Icebox.
No,
That's
it's not
free.
10%. 10%.
Okay, 10%.
You know what was
For
free?
everything, honey.
You know what was free? Our desks we used in Vegas.
Yeah,
That was
100%.
free. Look at this desk.
Was this like 40, like 3/4 scale?
I mean, look at how it's slanting down.
You know
I mean,
how in Super Mario Brothers they have like the big and the little world?
Yeah.
Like, this is what it looks like.
Answer looks like Adam Sandler and Billy Madison.
look at Edwin, the translator, looks like he's 6'7". The guy's like 5'9".
It kind of looks like
even
he's
August
superimposed
shorter than I am.
Yeah. Hey, you had brought up, or actually it was JP that brought up watching international baseball and watching the infield they take. It's like watching a Harlem Globetrotters game. You've been all over the
Don't do this.
the comings and goings on the
Here we go.
Globetrotters
Here we
roster.
go.
What did he dig up out of the old server?
Not your grandfather's Globetrotter.
Early Neal passed away this year.
Did not think we would get there today. Go ahead and clean up the mess in aisle 6 that you threw out there last night.
I said Curly Neal, but it was actually Marcus Haynes, so my facts were wrong. I was just picturing the dribbler.
You've had an incorrect expiration date on more than one person on this show.
Well, I had Sonny Gray today playing with the Reds. I have no idea where you're gonna go.
Goodness, that's one of my favorites.
I'm off tomorrow.
Again?
What?
Again?
What is going on
I haven't
here?
had a day off since March. What do you mean again?
Did you ever come in, Lauren?
She's like a one-hit wonder. Thanks for the drive-by today, Lauren. See you next week.
Great seeing my presents on Wednesday.
メジャー翻訳速報。佐々木朗希選手についてのコメントが印象的でしたね。100マイル超えのストレートとフォークボールの組み合わせは他に類を見ない特徴だと評価されています。また台湾での野球の熱気も伝わってきました。月曜日の夜でも3万人以上のファンが集まり、素晴らしい野球文化を感じました。さらに菅野投手がエンゼルスから興味を持たれるというニュースも気になりますね。どのような活躍を見せてくれるのかとても楽しみです。皆様のご意見やご感想などございましたらコメント欄までお願いいたします。ではまた次回の動画でお会いしましょう。ご視聴ありがとうございました。